Have you ever made a budget and before the start of the month you put down like $100? But even before the month started, you already knew that wasn't going to be enough. You already knew that you were going to spend $250, not 100, but you just didn't want to put down the 250. And why do we do that? Well, I think we do that because it feels better to pretend in the moment and make it look like we have all the numbers in place when actually we don't. And it can be really detrimental. It's like trying to lose weight and saying, you know what, I'm only gonna eat 1,200 calories this month. But normally you eat 2,500 calories. Might seem like a great goal, but actually it's just unattainable. It's actually not a plan. And what you're doing is you're just setting yourself up for failure. And as we are walking through this 52-week series, we are in video 6 of season 1, where we'll be hitting 13 videos to build the base of our financial future. You want to have a good financial future, right? Well, let's walk through this together. And some of even just the basic things are, you gotta stop lying to yourself if you're making a budget and you're writing down numbers that are not even close to what you're actually going to be using. You don't really need more willpower. What you need is more honesty. You need to be able to put down the numbers in order to see growth, to see that you actually hit those things and to be accurate. If you're just putting down fake numbers, then why budget at all? You might as well not. And in the previous videos, I talked to you about, looking through your different items and that are coming out of your bank account, writing those things down. If you're going to your bank account and you're seeing that, oh, I'm spending $500 on Amazon, yet you write down $100, who are you really fooling? You're not fooling anyone but yourself. And here's the actual problem. Unrealistic budgets guarantee failure. You're never going to hit that mark. You're never going to be able to actually complete a budget because you're throwing fake numbers out. It's not because you're bad with money, but you're working with numbers that are not even true. So let's get honest with each other and put down the actual numbers. And if those numbers that you see on your spreadsheet, in your app, make you kind of gulp, that's okay. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't feel bad that you're spending $400, $500 at Tim Hortons. But make an adjustment so that the next month you're not doing that. So what happens in these scenarios where you put down the wrong numbers? So $100 for groceries, even though you're spending $250. Well, you see what happens is halfway through the month, you failed because you've surpassed that number that you put down. And since you surpassed that number, now you're like, well, here's another failure. And then you feel like a failure and you just quit tracking and then you stop budgeting altogether. And that's not very helpful. And just like I said before, the issue isn't that you can't budget. The issue is actually honesty. We need to be honest with ourselves, even if it makes us feel kind of like, ugh. And the Bible kind of speaks to this kind of integrity. And we've brought this up before, but in Luke 12:10, it talks exactly about this type of integrity. Whoever can be trusted with little can actually be trusted with much as well. Jesus is saying faithfulness starts in the small things. It starts in the small details. And your budget, that's one of those small things in life we need to be real with. We need to be honest. And honesty is actually going to help us to gain traction. If you're not honest in your budget, to be perfectly honest, you're not going to be honest with what God has given you. If you can't be honest with yourself in writing down a number, you're not going to be honest with the money that you've been given. And that's tough to think about, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's true. So here's the shift. You need to stop budgeting with the life you wish you had. You know what? I wish that we were only spending $800 a month on our groceries, but we're not. We're spending $1,500 a month on our groceries. We're trying to draw that back, but with a family of 12, it can be difficult. And living in Canada, groceries are crazy expensive. So if your budget for groceries is $250 a month, write that down so you actually have real numbers. And you can see if maybe you're actually not even making enough income. Don't lie to yourself this way. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of work here. Look at the last 2 to 3 months on what you spent on groceries. Not what you hope to spend, but what you actually spend. What did groceries really cost you? How much did you spend on groceries? Where do you keep missing or maybe even messing up? Is it Amazon? Is it Tim Hortons? Is it a local coffee shop that you really like going to? You need to get those numbers so that you know what? I need to throttle back some of these things. And maybe it's not quit them completely, but it might be I'm not going to the coffee shop 5 times a week, or I'm not eating out twice a week. I'm only doing that once a month for now, so that I can move in a direction where I'm not doing it at all, so that I can attack my debt and work towards financial freedom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to actually make your actual numbers match your budget, and you're going to try to live that out rather than trying to pretend that your budget is only $2,500 a month and you have $7,000 to spend on all your debt or to bring your debt down when you don't. If your groceries are always $250, don't write $100. Write $250. Clarity is kindness. Being clear on what your numbers are going to help you to propel you. And it's going to help you to see that maybe you actually have a lot more money than you think. Okay, here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to find one category in your budget that you're just not being honest about it. What is it, that one thing that you're doing that you don't think you're spending a lot of money, but you've now looked at your budget and you see, or you've now looked at your numbers and you see, whoa, I am spending a lot of money on that. I need to slow that down. Write those numbers out. If it's just one item, if it's Starbucks, write down all the times you've been to Starbucks. Write down the number. If it's $200, write down $200. And now you can adjust your budget for the following month and say, you know what, I'm only going to spend $50 or something like that. What this is going to do is it's going to really bring these things into the light and help you to see where you're actually spending your money. And when you bring these things into the light, that's when you can actually change them. If you just ignore them, if you just lie to yourself, nothing's going to change, and you're going to continue to struggle through these things over and over and over again. And quite frankly, that is defeating. I want to close with this. You don't need a perfect budget, but you do need a budget that's accurate. You do need to be in a place where you're not lying about the numbers on your budget. Otherwise, you're just going to keep taking 3 steps back every time you take 1 step forward, and you're going to get nowhere. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've been there and I've done that, and it's difficult and it feels defeating. But this isn't for shame. This isn't to shame you or to make you feel bad, but it's to get numbers accurate. So moving forward, let's be accurate about these numbers and not just put down numbers that aren't real. I want to kind of just finish with this last thing. If you've never done a budget before, then throw down some numbers. Put down some thoughts of what you're thinking. Write down a sheet of paper, and even if you look at my last video, I talked about 5 different items. Write down those 5 items, and then, sure, throw some guesses at it. Guess about your income. How much do I make a month? Maybe I make $5,000 a month. Write that down. How much am I spending on groceries? Write that down. But then look at the numbers. Look at what you're actually spending and compare them. And you might actually find that, wow, I was way off. And I thought I was making a lot more money and I was spending a lot less. But it's actually reverse, and I'm spending more and I'm making less. So I hope this is a challenge for you this week. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully you guys can continue to build this foundation for your financial future. Keep following along. Have a great week.